Assalamu alaikum. My name is Jema Abulata, and today I'm going to present the first project of the network course, which is a real-life chat system built on plain TCP sockets in Python. And I'm going to demonstrate how a client can connect to a server and send messages, framed messages, over a TCP stream. And then we're going to upscale to have several clients connect to the server using multiple threads. And we're going to use locks in order to prevent race conditions. And we're going to establish a small protocol, simple protocol that allows the client to send several messages and several commands to the server, interact with it. Before I get started, I'm going to show you the sequence diagram which demonstrates the server and the client lifecycle from the first connection until the connection teardown at the very end. First of all, the server is set up, and when it starts, we set up the socket with IPv4 and TCP, and then we make sure once it's reconnected, it's reconnected to the same port and the same host, and we bind them, and then we listen for new connections, limiting the backlog to 100 concurrent clients connecting at the same time. Once that is done, and a client connects with a TCP connect, then a three-way handshake takes place. And once the handshake is complete, the server accepts, and we run a third thread that is going to be a pre-connection thread that's going to handle all of the client connections through the server. Now, the server is going to expect the client to send a hello, this message basically hello with its ID that was passed when the client first connected, and a line break. This line break is going to be in our protocol the way to identify that this is the end of the command. As you know, TCP is a stream-based connection. It doesn't know when the start of the command and the end of it is going to be. So in this simple protocol, we're going to consider this line break the end of each command, and then it's going to check the uniqueness of this ID. Once it confirms and everything is okay, it's going to welcome this new person with an ID, and it's going to send a message, a system message to everyone who's online that this ID is now online. Once the connection is established and everyone is aware that this ID is now active, now they can interact with the system with all the different commands that I'm going to show you, like the DM, the group message, and the file sending, and all of the other commands that we have, and they're going to interact freely. Once the client is done, they're going to quit. And once that is done, then we're going to clean up and remove the client from all of the groups and all the dictionaries in the shared state that we have in our app. And we're going to send everyone a message that this client is now offline, and we're going to close this connection. Now, to show you the threads that are going to be running, in order to have our connection, we have multiple threads running, and we have the clients who signed up with a specific ID mapped to specific sockets in these dictionaries. The main dictionaries are clients mapped user to socket and socket to user ID, and the groups in our system. In order to have these shared states protected from race conditions, we have to use a lock before we access them, and this is what we're doing in order to avoid these threads ruining and interacting with each other in the wrong way. Now we're going to jump right into the code. As you see, we have the server and we have the client files. And to start with the server, I'm going to show you the main function, which is the entry point of our server. Here you can see where we set up the server, and then we run this loop that listens as the server is now listening and starts new threads for new connecting clients. Now, this thread is going to have the handle function for handling the clients. And I'm going to show you this function that's going to run in this thread. This is the handle function, and here we're going to handle the client registration, as the client is going to send a hello with its ID, and we're going to frame the messages with these delimiters that I mentioned earlier. With every line, we're going to read exactly where the command is, we're going to parse it, and then make sure all the commands are being executed. Here we're checking for the uniqueness of the ID, and then we're executing the different loops after we parse, and we make sure we have the connection. This is the help command, and this is the broadcast with different users, the DMs, and all of the commands that I'm going to show you in the demo with everyone. We're just parsing it and then handling it and passing it to the function handlers that are going to execute the task. Once these are handled, the groups and the DMs and all the other logic that I've mentioned before, we're going to finally handle the disconnection. This is when the client wants to disconnect, and this is in case they send an unknown command, and this closes the connection at the very end. Now to move on to the client. Once the client is connected, this is the main logic. So the client is connected, and we pass the ID of the client as well as the host and the port. If the host and the port are not passed, then resetting these as defaults. And this is what the client's going to see, all of the different commands that are allowed. They're going to type help to get this list again. There is the list of users, DM a specific user with a specific message, broadcast a message to all of the users of the system, join a specific group, and create a new group if this group doesn't exist, leave this group and notify everyone, and also with the join is going to notify everyone in the group, and this is to list the current groups, and this is to send a specific message to a specific group, and this is to also send a file within the group, and this is to quit and close the connection. Like I said, the client sends a hello with its ID, and this starts the thread, which is a receive loop. This is going to handle incoming messages and files from with the server. And here, this is going to interact with all of the commands that are going to be passed through the command line that I've mentioned earlier. And to show you the function that's going to run in the thread, here, this is the receive loop. It is going to run in the thread, and it's going to make sure there's a download directory for ensuring the files exist. The files that are being sent are going to be put in this directory, and it's going to handle all the different cases like the users, the groups, and all these messages being sent from to a specific person, and the groups that are being shown in our system, the file sharing, and all of the other different logic, as well as the system notifications that are sent to everyone. Now I'm going to jump right into the demo and show you exactly how this works. So I'm going to start with a demo, and in order not to make this video too long, I'm going to go through it really fast and cover all the different scenarios, but before we have to make sure the server is running and listening on this local host and the port, accepting local connections. And here we're going to run our client, and I'm going to demonstrate this through the command line as well as a GUI that I've made using tkinter for Python, and I'm going to show you the interactions between them through the CLI and through the command line. And now we are done with this presentation. Thank you so much for watching this video, and have a good day. Assalamu alaikum.